Welcome back. The Braille Center is a charity whose mission is to eliminate barriers to a fulfilling life caused by blindness and severe sight loss. Joining us on the show today are members of the Braille Center. We have first here Ireti, Yusuf, I always mix it up. How you doing? Well,
I'm
good to have you. How you doing?
I'm okay.
So
I haven't seen you guys in a while.
Yeah, we remember Ireti, she comes, we used to bring her on the show.
No, so, we don't remember.
Oh, well, you have your team here from the Braille Center. Would you kindly introduce them to us?
Yes.
So we know what they do and what the center is about.
All right, okay. So the Braille Center is a charity dedicated to educating the blind and the visually impaired within the society. It's a charity that was set up by a group of ladies called Niger Wives. They are expatriate ladies who are married to Nigerian men. So they are non-Nigerian women who are married to Nigerian men who live here and have fallen in love with this country. And they started this charity some 19 years ago. So allow me to introduce you. I mean, I'm privileged. I just started working with them, but allow me to introduce you. So this is Auntie Jean, young lady as I call her. She's the coordinator of the Braille Center. This is Auntie Edith, okay, and she also works with the Braille Center. And this is Jeannie, who is the president, the Lagos president of Niger Wives, okay. And like I said, the Braille Center is a charity.
When did the Braille Center start, and how long have you been on this project?
Okay, the Braille Center started in 1995.
Okay.
That's when we actually set up the center, but prior to that, the Lagos branch of Niger Wives was recording books on cassette for blind students, especially at the secondary level. But you know, a book you listen to, for textbook is not as good as one you can read.
Yeah, true.
So in the early 1990s, I learned that it was possible to use computers to produce Braille. So I took it up to Niger Wives. Niger Wives is an association of non-Nigerians married to Nigerians, and it was set up in 1979 to help us some of the problems we had with immigration and employment and things like that. So it was actually set up to give us a voice, but a strong part of it is contributing to the community in which we live.
So if you provide these materials for the blind, do you train them on how to use them, or do you just hand them over these materials?
We're not a school per se. Okay. I mean, the blind children, if they're blind from being small, they normally go to a primary school, usually residential, to learn all the things they need to equip them. And that is, they have to learn Braille, they have to learn mobility, they have to learn independent living, all these things that they have to learn. But if a blind child goes through a school like that, primary school like that, then he has what he needs to go into a regular secondary school. We are concerned with providing educational services that will assist them. We're not a school per se, but we're providing educational services like Braille books. We produce Braille textbooks. We do computer training and things like that.
Let me talk to the president, since you're the president here in Lagos.
Of the Lagos branch of Niger Wives.
Of Niger Wives. Now, you're participating in this project, I mean, in providing these materials. How has it been, especially in Lagos? Because this is a city, and we have lots of people here living, all of the blind people here in the city. How has it been getting people actually coming to get some of these materials you have? Do you have to look for them, or they come to you, or what's the process like?
Well, actually, after producing the books, we send them out to other states to provide for the other students in the school outside Lagos. We are not only concentrating on Lagos.
Well, do you find the blind children, or do they come to you? That's not,
they find us.
They find you.
They know that we produce books, and they will just ring up to check whether we have got a book on for a particular year or particular course. We will tell them how much it is, and they will pay the money into the bank, and then we produce the copy and send it to them by post.
So how affordable are these materials for the blind people?
We produce them at a highly subsidized rate. We believe very strongly, even though it takes us much more to produce it, we believe that blind children should access books at the same price as the print books. That for
I'd like to find out, do you need to go to a special school to learn how
Braille?
to use Braille?
Yeah, they learn Braille at the primary school. Also, like we also have a rehabilitation unit in our centre, so that, like, there's a young man there now. He just suddenly lost his sight due to a retina problem, and he didn't know what to do. Then he heard of us, so he came. He's learning Braille. He's learning to use the computer. He was in work before this happened. So with these skills then, he will be able to go back, and a blind person, once they know Braille, they know computer, and they have a scanner, they can work in your own company or any other company, given the chance.
I think it's important to get out there that one of the big values that the Braille Center has brought to the Nigerian blind and visually impaired community is, for instance, the textbook. I think there used to be this national, I think, mathematical textbooks,
New
General Maths textbooks, which until the Braille Center came along was actually 10,000 naira for the blind students and probably like 300 or 500 naira for the sighted students. And the Braille Center, yes, that's the kind of difference they make. The Braille Center came along and made it, what, 350?
Yeah, well, it depends on how many volumes.
Yeah, you know, so that's the sort of value that you have.
Let me ask the million-dollar question. How are you funded?
Okay.
We live from hand to mouth.
It's a charity.
We depend on
It's a charity.
donations and everything.
Real? Your husband must be very rich then.
Well, no, but what's been rich got to do with charity?
Because
I think Auntie Jane, I'm going to get Auntie Edith to talk about, this is why we've got an event coming up. For the first time, we are actually raising funds. We are raising funds for the charity because we actually do need help. These ladies have always just gone out there, begged their husbands, friends, you know, help us do this, do that. And that's how they've been able to get money. For 19 years, it has had a humongous impact. Okay, 400 textbooks later, we still need money. We now need people to help. So I'm going to get Auntie Edith here to talk about the event we've got coming up, haven't we? Because we're doing the fundraising event on the 20th? 23rd? 23rd of November.
We're having a garden party, an effort to raise funds once again. But there has to be a bit of investment by the Braille Centre, you know, which the Braille Centre can't really afford.
That's right.
So we are hoping that we can make a little
Get some
money
donors.
and
Absolutely.
get some donors in.
And the centre also employs blind people. We have, I think, 5 blind people.
We have a staff of 10 at the centre. 5 are blind, 5 are sighted. And they come to work like anybody else. I mean, our office is in King's College in Victoria Island. But most of our staff come from Ikorodu, so you can imagine how difficult it is to come from public transport.
We certainly appreciate what you've done, and that's why I want to be part of this project. We'd definitely like to attend the event and tell as many people as possible about the Braille Center, because it's good to know that you've taken from your own private funds, your friends and family. You've done this for 19 good years, just like Iriti said. So we'll be part of this project the best we can, and I think we're doing a good job. And I know you've had some success stories of some people that we don't know.
Yes, Cobrams, for instance. I mean, I actually went over to him. I saw him at the theatre a couple of weeks ago, and I just went to him to sort of say, you know, I'm part of this charity, we're about to do this. And he said, what, the Braille Centre? If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be where I am. Is Auntie Jean still there? I said, yes. This is Auntie Jess. Yes, she's still there. You know, I call her young lady.
You had success stories like that.
Fantastic lots. I spoke to somebody at the ministry trying to sell raffle tickets to them. He said, I know the Braille Centre. I got my textbooks because of them. So now, many lives have been impacted.
We need to close now. For those who are blind and looking for a Braille Center to see how they can help in education, what do they do and where do they go to?
They're quite well known, you know. I mean, amongst the
blind community,
they know it. We send books. We get book orders from all over the country.
Wow, fantastic! Thank you so much, Auntie Jean and Auntie Edith and Jeannie for coming. And Iriti, it's always good having you.
No, it's been great seeing you ladies.
Cause, all right?
Well, you know, you gotta give back. Gotta find the closest way to heaven, right?
Thank you so much. All right, we're gonna take a quick break. When we come back, how do we care for our pets? We have some dogs in the building, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back. Pets are animals kept primarily for persons, company, or protection, and provide their owners with physical and emotional benefits. The most important or most popular pets are noted for their attractive appearances, like Lulu here, and their loyal and playful personalities. They include dogs, cats, and house rabbits. How do we care for our pets? Joining us to enlighten us is a veterinary doctor, Dr. Dotun Kuti. Welcome to the show. So we have 2 dogs in the house. We have Zimba and we have Lulu here. Yeah. Now, in recent times, we're hearing stories of dog beating up a little boy and all that stuff, and many people are scared of owning dogs. And as a veterinary doctor, I wanted you to enlighten us on exactly how, what could have caused a dog like that, an association dog, to get vicious? How do you tame a dog not to be vicious, as violent as the other one that beat up the little boy?
Okay. What I would say most Nigerians don't understand is a dog can be a companion. At the same time, it can also be a guard dog. Okay. By being a companion, that means you develop a kind of close relationship with the dog. A dog is supposed to be part of the family, you know, and once a dog feels that way, it's natural for the dog to now be defensive or try and protect. In cases where, like the recent one where 2 dogs attacked a young boy, I would say that I would not blame the dogs at all. I would blame the owner, because it's a fact. You never have a bad dog. You always have a bad owner.
Because I see Zimba, if the camera can take, can you get Zimba to stand up?
Can he get to stand up?
Zimba, get up.
Massive.
Up.
Now this dog is actually bigger than the dog that beat up the little boy.
And he's so friendly.
And he's so friendly and nice, because he's not as big as those dogs. Those are much smaller than he
No.
is. Now how come?
For example, Zimba is 10 years old. He's never beaten anybody before.
Oh, wow.
He's never beaten anybody. But
is he an indoor dog?
He's an indoor and outdoor dog. And I can tell you for a fact that...
Come here, Lulu.
Zimba.
Lulu, you don't go there. Is he female? Is Zimba a female?
No, he's a male.
Why is he going to try and lick his bum? What's wrong with you? You're a male.
But if you do come to my house and you knock on my gate, he'll make so much noise that even the neighbors next door would get up and say, what's going on? But he's not trained to attack or bite or things like that.
Come.
The thing about Zimba that I know is he lives in the compound. In the compound, chickens live there. And we went to Dotun's house, to Dr. Kuti's house one Christmas. And the chickens were walking up and down, and Zimba was just watching them. And I was like, this one is not my own dog play. So I need to ask you, am I a bad owner? Because my own dogs will eat all those chickens.
You're a dog lover, which most people are. Okay. But to go a step further is to be responsible for your dog's behavior.
Okay, I have a question, because my father loves dogs, and all my life we've always had one dog, one era of dog to another. And I realized that when I was growing up, the way I'll carry the leash and I'll pursue, the dogs were pursuing our neighbors. One day that dog turned and started pursuing me. Ever since that day, as I am right now, I'm shaking, because I don't like dogs. You know, how do I overcome? Because I know that if you really have a very good dog, the dog will love you, you know, unconditionally. So how do I come out of that fear to say that, okay, I can now have a dog, like, because my husband bought me this type of dog. I shipped it to Kaduna.
Because I said this is the type I was looking for. Because a lot of families are scared of dogs because of that little boy incident. So we need to tell us how do we get out of that fear?
I would say, for example, should the world be afraid of Nigerians because a few Nigerians are carrying drugs? No. Of course, they're animals, first of all. They're not human beings. So you must always have that in your mind. They're first animals. And then, secondly, you have to try and bring out the best in them. There's also another saying, your dog's character is actually how you are. Because if you tend to be an aggressive person, you would love your dog to be aggressive. If you're docile and calm, 9 out of 10 times, your dog will be docile and calm, because you will impact that character.
You are not docile.
My father is very calm, but the dog is very harsh.
You are not docile.
I read somewhere.
No, that's one. And then 2, you also have to pay a lot of attention to them, just like you do with kids. You know, if for example, you buy a dog like this as a puppy, and then you leave it to your guard to watch over, there will be a day when you will come back late at night when the dog is 4 years old, and you'll be calling him, come and hold the dog, I want to enter my house. You know, and that's what happens to most of my clients. They're just thinking security. And then what happens when the guard says he's going? And they're looking at their dog and saying, Kai, what are we going to do? Wow. Because nobody is close to the dog apart from Usman, who's gone.
Wow, interesting.
You know, so
you're going to ask a question.
Yeah, I spoke to a dog lover, and he explained the fact that you don't take a big dog, that you must always take like a puppy
yes.
and train up your dog so they get familiar with you. In cases where you now, can you just buttress that point and explain on it more?
Okay, first of all, you can't teach an old dog tricks. Now, if you inherit an old dog, he's already picked up a couple of things that even if you don't like them, it's going to be in him. That's one. It's always good to start with a puppy, especially for those who've been beaten before. It's natural for a person who's been bitten by a dog when they were kids to now be afraid of dogs for the rest of their lives. You understand?
Now, talking about, since as a veterinary doctor, right?
Yes.
How often should we take our dogs for treatment? Come, Lulu.
Well, if you get a puppy, the first things you do are the immunizations.
Yes.
Which is important. One, you want to immune the dog against fatal puppy diseases like distemper, parvo, then more importantly, rabies.
You won't touch her, they will beat you. Lulu, come on.
You see, this dog,
this little dog is touching this big dog.
Notice that these short dogs, they are like short people.
They're very troublesome.
Aggressive.
Sit down, my friend.
Troublesome. Because I used to have one that was taken by armed robbers. They are always looking for the trouble of these big dogs.
Yeah.
So can you manage both of them together?
The reason being that even though they're small, they have the heart of a lion. You know, so they think they can take on anything.
Anybody.
It's only when they get really beaten up that they realize that they're small.
So once you have the immunization, you have the yearly rabies shot
yeah,
that you take.
which is important. Then routinely, every 2 to 3 months, you do routine deworming.
Now the food, because Nigerians, we just give them eba, rice and everything, and abroad they have these special meals for them.
Well, we have that now. We have that.
Now we have them a lot.
But they're expensive, though.
No, they're not. If you actually work things out,
okay,
it's really economically better for you to go on commercial dog food. I'll give an example. You buy a big bag of dry food. You buy 2 cartons of dog canned food. You can afford to travel for your summer. I know that the people at home will definitely feed the dog. Now you end up buying frozen fish and rice, and you travel. You can be guaranteed that both the domestic staff and the dogs are going to be, and I bet the dog won't be having as much.
True.
So at the end of the day, it's actually more,
actually have their own food.
and then it makes you a bit more organized. You know you're doing the right thing. At the same time, it's more or less effortless.
Can I just complain about my own dogs? They're always fighting. They are always fighting. How do I stop them from fighting?
How many dogs you have?
You see, right now only 5.
Well, when you have a situation where you have 2 males, especially when you have 2 males and then you have maybe 1 or 2 other females, there's always going to be that
supremacy.
Yes, supremacy fight thing. You get, and that's the problem you're going to have. Like for example, if Zimba had a pup and it was a male and I kept him, but I still kept his mom. Sooner or later, his pup is going to be fighting him over his mom, especially when the mom comes on heat. Because dogs tend to fight for basically 2 things: 1, over food, and then when a bitch is on heat. That's when they actually come out fighting.
Interesting.
There's someone I know that he wasn't.
Wait, 1 second. I'll take a quick break.
Okay.
We're gonna go for a quick break. When we come back, still on the veterinary doctor. Stay with us. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Welcome back. You can call us on 070-806-68014, or you can tweet to us at UWTVC if you have any questions for the doctor. All right. How often do we feed these dogs, especially these kind of dogs, compared to yours?
No, basically, once they're adults, you feed them the same way.
Same way?
Once a day. No, once a day.
Okay.
As puppies, because you want them to have as much nutrients as possible, then usually start like 3 times a day.
Now, what kind of breed is best for family? Because I know a lot of Nigerians are predisposed to get an Alsatian. I don't know, it's always easily available for some reason. People get Alsatians, but what other kind of breeds are family that you can actually have your children play with? Because this can be very scary for people.
A very good breed is a Labrador.
Okay.
Or Golden Retriever. Those are family-oriented dogs.
Okay. Golden Retriever, that's the slimmer, longer one, or what?
No. They're
like
they're fluffy.
They're like almost like the shepherd dogs, right? They're bigger.
If you remember, what's the name of this
movie?
The homeless dog.
Yeah.
Like, one with kids, used to go around.
Yeah.
Hobo, homeless hobo or something like that. Dogs like that. They're family oriented.
Okay. You know, we've been talking about dogs. Can we talk about cats? Because most Nigerians are afraid of cats.
Yes.
And I have a lovely cat.
Jazz.
Before you answer the cat dog, because they think you're a witch now because we can't. Let me take this call. Good morning. Are you there?
Yes. Good morning.
Yes. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, my name is Jumai. I'm calling from Inupeju. Yes. I just want to ask the vet doctor. I have some couple of dogs around me, but I want to find out what's the implication if eventually a female dog gives birth and you nurture the dog and it becomes an adult dog, and eventually he crossed his mom. What's the offspring going to look like?
Cross his own mom. All right, thank you.
Oh, okay. In the veterinary medicine, what is called inbreeding. What are the implications? What you're doing basically is, when you have a male and a female from different origins, and they have puppies, what happens is the best of their genes are concentrated in the puppies. Now, usually the best of the genes is usually more dominant than the bad genes, which we call recessive. Now, what you do is, so when you have an individual, for example, you have a mother and a son. The mother already has the recessive, the bad genes, together with the good genes. Now, the children, or the opposite sex, who is a relative to that one, also has the same thing. Yes. Now, the only way the bad genes come out is when the two recessive genes come together. So by breeding the mother and the son, what you're doing is you're creating a possibility for the bad genes to come together and then come out. Oh, wow. I'm saying it in a very lame way. If you're a medical person, you understand what I'm saying.
Okay, I think we get it.
So it's just like a mother and her son now in human life.
Yeah. We have this tweet, please. I need to read this tweet.
So it's really not good, because most of the puppies will be weak. They won't be as strong and as healthy as
let's see some tweets.
John Lawrence Odede says, I never knew there is anything that can make Uwa this humble. Sit and did not shake. I like you, though. Love you, ladies. God bless you.
Then there's this one, please. Okay. Please ask Dr. Dotun to tell us if dog food has a lot to do with how dogs behave, knowing that dog foods are always expensive.
Do Nigerian food make them aggressive compared to the dog food?
No. Food has nothing to do with the dog's behavior.
Okay. Somebody has this question.
King says, Doctor, how can I train my dog and get them to understand English?
Yes, because this one gets some commands. I know my brother actually worked on him a lot to get him to this point. But how do you train a dog? What techniques can you teach?
The best way is you start from the moment you get the dog as a puppy. There's a saying, you can't teach an old dog tricks. And then, if you don't have a relationship with your dog, you would not be able to impact that training on him. Dogs are habitual. They follow habits. For example, if I want my dog, for example, to attack somebody, I just found out that every time I say Kai, he looks like that and he becomes more alert. So I now say, okay, I'll start using Kai for my attack.
Please don't say too much.
No, but I don't do it, you know. And then you'll find that when you do certain things, your dog reacts in a certain way. Like, for example, if he's naughty, for my one is puppy.
I have a call. Sorry, sir. Let me pause you. Alani, are you there?
Hello, I'm
Please go ahead, please. Sorry for keeping you on.
Hello?
Yes, go ahead.
Sorry, I would like to talk to Rita. I need his contact so we can discuss about my dog.
Yeah, they're asking us on Twitter for. We'll tweet his contact.
All right, we'll tweet his contact.
They're asking for your contact on Twitter as well. Okay. You were saying something that when he was a pup.
Yeah, when he was a pup, and he used to do things that were not too good. What I used to roll newspapers.
Yes.
And I used to hit him.
My brother does
Now, as big as he is, if I really hit a newspaper and I hit him now, the way he will shout, you would think I actually used a big stick. So it's in his mind. You know, and that's the way you bring up your dog.
My brother was telling me that this morning that if Lulu starts messing up, I just hold down, pin him down properly, and hit him at the back that he'll get the message. That's how he's been training him since.
If he's a puppy, that's how you stop them from actually making mistakes in the house. But you have to catch them doing it. It's no use you coming back and then seeing pee on the carpet and then you grab him and start beating him. The guy doesn't know.
But when he does that, what my brother does is actually take him to the pee,
put
his nose around the pee, and then beat him.
Yeah.
You know that I'm beating him because of that.
You rub his nose
and beat him.
For me, I have a question.
But you have to also give them an alternative. That means you can't confine your dog in the house
like training your children
and expect them not to wee. So if you're doing that at the same time, you have to make sure that you take them out regularly, so they already get used to
that. Yes, Uwa.
Yeah, because for the case of the boy that was beaten by dogs, like I was saying, that someone I know in Jos, the man has big dogs in his compound and he has a gun. The moment anyone messes up, he just shoots the dog. You know, is it right? Is it possible to retrain a dog that's already tasted human blood? Because that's the buzz that is going around saying that we need to kill those dogs. We need to kill those dogs.
No, but even I think according to law, if your dog goes out and attacks viciously a human being, the dog has to be put down.
Okay, but my brother has another dog in the house, a bigger one than this. And that one, I don't know the breed, but he's a very dangerous dog. He keeps him at the back, but he goes to feed him himself. He made a mistake. He was feeding him. He now slipped and fell on the dog. For some dog, maybe the dog thought he was going to attack him. He now beat his hand. Terrible. I mean, for like 8 weeks, he's been nursing this thing. Now, obviously, the dog has tasted blood. Should he put that dog down?
No, because...
But he didn't attack.
Because he didn't attack.
Okay.
You understand? You made the mistake of going into his own space and he just...
I have a question from Twitter. Shide Daniel says, my question is there any particular treatment given to a dog to help them obey human? And what kind of dog is good for security?
Okay. To answer your first question, I have this tendency of doing this. Is there any treatment we can give children for them to understand their parents? No. You have to be responsible for your dog. I mean, before you even decide to take a dog, you have to read about the dog. You have to know what it entails. You have to know that it's a living creature and it's supposed to be a domestic, it's supposed to be part and parcel of the family. So it's like as if you're getting an additional member of the family. So there is no treatment. You just have to be responsible. The more responsible you are, the better result you will get with your dog.
Then I've also heard that you're not supposed to beat dogs with your hands. You're supposed to pick up like a newspaper, like you said. Always use a newspaper to train your dogs. Because when you hit a dog with your hands, you're also giving him food with the hands, so he gets confused.
Well, that's one way of looking at it. But the best way is to use a paper, and you do it for when the dog is a puppy. So it goes right up to when he's an adult. The beauty about dogs or pets, they remain children for the rest of their lives. Yeah, like he's like a puppy.
We always see this Oyinbo people putting fork in the dog's mouth and
yes.
Is that because I don't do that? I mean, I can let him kiss me, but I can't use fork and give him food. Is it bad?
No, it's not. It depends on your
how healthy you take.
Well, apart from that, it depends on your emotional attachment to your dog. I know of people in America and abroad who actually leave millions of dollars for their dogs and leave nothing for their children.
What dog? The dog best breed for security?
They have quite a number of them. You have the Alsatians, you have the Rottweilers, you have Dobermans, you have
Bulldogs.
Brabus.
Oh, we have to go.
Rottweilers are supposed to be awful dogs, though.
No, they're not. Like I've always said, there are no bad dogs. There are always bad owners.
I think we should leave. I think we can end with that.
Still the same thing. They have a tendency of being aggressive. Yes, they tend to be. So you need to be a strong, responsible dog.
All right, we have to go. My producer is shouting in my ears. Thank you so much, Chef. I think we learned a lot. I think one thing we can go home with is that we don't never have bad dogs. We have bad owners.
Yes.
So if you want your dog to be tamed and really loved and fluffy like Zimba, Zimba is lying down. This is not your bed, though. Zimba,
Zimba, this one, he fell down there.
Look at him.
Sleep.
Zimba, say bye-bye. We're going to say bye. Say bye to everyone. Lulu.
stay in one place. You want to find trouble.
All right, thank you so much. We had a great show. I want to thank the Braille Center ladies for being here, mom, aunties. I want to thank you, Reti, for bringing them over to the show. We had a great time. Ladies, fun. Thank you, sir.
Producer didn't show my cat too.
You didn't bring your cat.
I bought the picture now.
All right. Don't forget to watch a repeat broadcast at 11:30 p.m. tonight. You can also watch previous episode by going to YouTube/TV Entertainment and search for Your View. God bless you. The best cure for breast cancer is early detection. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.